Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and you guys have asked me to do a little bit more general aviation flights, so here we are. We are going to fly the Black Square TBM850 across the Yellowstone National Park from West Yellowstone Airport over to Jackson Hole. Now, lovely little scenery for West Yellowstone from Xcoder Design, and then of course we got Jackson Hole from Dreamflight Studios together with the TBM850 from Black Square Simulations. Now, Black Square, honestly, one of my favorite general aviation aircraft developers here together with A2A and Chaos. So I'm really looking forward to this one, especially since the TBM is one of my favorite general aviation aircraft anyway. Now, before we get started, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that's capable of not only your standard IFR A to B flight, but also other things like VFR, data link, and heck, even a cabin crew if you're looking for one, then look no further than Say Intentions. We will be using them today to guide us from A to B. Obviously, we don't have cabin crew and this stuff alike, and we are flying IFR, but nonetheless, I think this is going to be an interesting one. Alright, so let's get into this. If you're interested in Say Intentions, check them out using the link in the pinned comment or the video description below. Now, airplane's been parked for a little while, so let's make sure we remove all the chocks and the covers from here, which are absolutely mandatory in an area like this, in order to ensure that we don't get any of our vital ports obstructed with any insects or birds and stuff the likes. So now our airplane is looking good that all of this is away. Let's quickly go ahead and have a look into the passenger cabin over here. We will be carrying 4 passengers today on this flight. And just to make sure that it's nice and tidy, which it absolutely is, so that is looking good. Well then, let's get up front and get inside and start preparing the airplane before our guests are arriving. So, gotta open that up, get out our ladder, and here we go. For the checklists for today's flight, we will be using the checklists provided by Black Square. Their manuals are just absolutely fantastic, I totally love them, and well, we are going to be using them today. Alright, so pre-flight checklist, the crash lever goes up, generator or source selector off, generator selector main, starter off, ignition off, exterior lights are all set, gyro instruments all off, emergency lights tested, circuit breakers are all in, mainly down there on the right hand side. Quick look from the side, yep, definitely all in. Very good. Okay then, so de-icing switches are all in the down position. Landing gear control is down, autopilot and trim master is off, radio master is off, bleed air is off. Then air conditioning is off, dump switch is in the guarded position. So the ram air handle is pushed in, fuel auto selector is on manual. Auxiliary boost pump off. Okay, tank selector left or right. It's on the left position, that's good. ELT is armed. Park and brake set. Manual override lever off. Power lever flight idle, which is here. Okay, prop lever max RPM. Condition lever off. Flap control up. And battery bus power. We are going to be supplied right on from the batteries today, no external power for us. Okay, so source selector on to battery. Then voltmeter is above 25, barely just, but it's above. So exterior lights panel, we are going to do the light test here, so let's turn all of those on. Okay, so fuel gauges are checked, advisory panel. Test 1 and test 2 is looking good. Okay, oxygen annunciator is extinguished. That is looking good. So, interior lights set, environmental panel. We can do the light test down here real quick. That's looking good. Flaps are going down. And landing gear panel, we are going to do the light test 1 and 2. Both looking good. Okay, so pitot heat number 1 is coming on, warning goes out. Then pitot heat number 2, same thing, warning goes out. And we'll turn it back off again. De-icing panel set, source selector. Well, before we turn it back off, let's quickly go outside, verify that all the lights are working. So here we are. Quick check from the front. Yep, light is working. Looking good. Then over to the side. Lights working. Working and flashing. Flaps are down, no damages visible. This guy probably has some damage to his head by now, as often as he's walking through our airplane. Alright, so lights are again working over here, and the landing lights also working. Perfect. Then we can go straight back in. All of those off, and then source selector goes back off. Alright, and that's our pre-flight checklist complete, so this is a good time to start boarding now. So let's go ahead and set ourselves up. We are going to have 4 passengers on board, 170 pounds for each of them, which puts us slightly above the maximum gross weight. I tell you honestly, those 22 pounds will be burned during taxi, so that's nothing to worry about. Apart from that, I really don't know why it gives us such a bad engine condition over here. Not sure what we've done to the airplane, but I am just going to fix this over here, because, well, 11% is a little bit too bad. Okay, so everything's off on the electricals, makes sense. Over here everything's set, no active failures, so aka nothing in the logbook. That's what we are basically checking over here. All of that is looking good, and with that we can just put the tablet away again. Now our guests are on board already as well. What's the temperature here? 15 degrees. Okay. Cool, and with that we are basically ready to go, so let's move back aft. Close the doors now that our guests are on board. So that's going to be you going up. And then we'll close that one. And here we go. Alright, cool. So let's get back in and close up. Here we are, and the locks are showing green. Wonderful. Alright, cool. So then, let's go ahead with the before starting engine checklist. Pre-flight inspection complete, nose baggage door closed, engine compartment closed, cabin access door latched, pilot door latched, park and brake down here is set, seat and seat belt fastened, oxygen pressure checked, oxygen supply is on. Then, passenger oxygen is, let's see. So passenger oxygen is off. Okay, microphone selector is in normal. Then starter off, ignition auto. Okay, landing gear control down, radio master on if clearance is required, and the clearance is required. So let's go ahead and turn that one on, and then we can go and call for our IFR clearance. Now, this is a neat little feature in the TBM, because it basically enables us to use only our COM1 unit, which in this case is the GTN750, in order not to drain our battery by powering the entirety of our avionics suite. Okay, so nav database is up to date based on Navigraph. We are using the TDS GTN-XI, by the way. So database and charts coming from Navigraph, looking excellent. This is looking good, this is looking good. Then let's go down to the waypoint info, Yellowstone, frequencies, and...
TOS, system test okay.
Thank you very much, good morning. Okay. So
Temperature 14.
Let's get the weather.
Altimeter 3022. Density altitude 7800 feet. Yellowstone Airport. Automated weather observation. 1715 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 14. Dew point 2. Altimeter 3022. Density altitude 7800 feet. Yellowstone Airport, automated weather observation. 1715 Zulu. Wind calm.
Okay, so over to the CTAF, and that's it. Let's see, is there anything interesting on there? No, not really, huh? Okay, nothing interesting on here. Looks good. Then we can start it up. Now, in the real world, in the States, you could get your IFR clearance through your mobile phone. You can kind of simulate that with sane intentions by actually texting to a certain phone number. However, I'm not really going to do that, so I can't show you my phone on screen. So, that's it. So yeah, we'll have to keep it at that. I am going to request the IFR clearance off screen there, and that is going on in the background now via my WhatsApp for kinda personal reasons. I can't show you that on screen. So we do have clearance to Jackson, radar vectors to Quert, then as file, climb maintain 10,000, expect level 190 10 minutes after, departure 12835, squawk 5755. And expecting runway 19, we are released for departure, clearance void if not by 1816 Zulu, time now 01, no readback required. Okay, so that is looking good. With that we do have our clearance, so let's turn that thing back off again and continue with the checklist. So, source selector to battery. And here we go, looking good. Alright, we can clear both of those away. And then, door annunciator is extinguished. Fuel gauges are checked. Fuel selector on auto. Okay, auto fuel selector shift. And indeed it's worked. We are on the right hand tank now. Very good. So, engine instruments are looking good up here. ITT test is looking good. Annunciator test isn't working just yet, that's fine. Okay, and exterior lights as required, so we are gonna turn the strobe light on here for the startup. So, engine start from battery checklist. Manual override lever in idle, power lever flight idle, prop lever maximum, condition lever cutoff, source selector battery, auxiliary boost pump on. And pressure is observed, fuel pressure annunciator is extinguished. Okay, fuel pressure is green, then ignition is on auto, and then we are ready to start up. So the prop is clear. Let's clear the master warning so that if anything new comes up during the start we can see it. And off we go. Starter is on. So NG is increasing. We're looking for 13% or maximum motoring. 13% is minimum, but let's give it a while. Looks like it's stabilizing here at 14, that's fine. Okay, condition lever low idle. Here comes the engine. So 1090 max and below 870 degrees in 20 seconds. We are nicely below that, no problem. Alright, so 50% NG, starter's coming off. And then condition lever into high idle. And here comes the rest of the engine. Nice. Okay, looks like we've got a good engine start. Down here the oil pressure is checked green. Lovely. Alright, beautiful. Then aux boost pump auto. Aux boost pump on annunciator is extinguished. Main generator annunciator is extinguished. Voltmeter is at roughly 28, looking good, and ammeter is charging, aka positive. That's the engine start checklist complete, so let's go on with the after start checklist. So, gyro instruments are coming on. Gyro suction should be green, and there's the gauge, and it is green. Okay, gyro slaving is ongoing, and the rest is looking good. Alright, so, prop DIs on, green. And off again. Left windshield heat, on, green, off. Right windshield heat, on, green, off. Airframe DIs. Let's put that on. and it's gonna go for a cycle, so we'll just give it that time, which might take a little. Then inertial separator is coming on. Okay, the ammeter is below +50, that's looking good. Alright, and then generator selector is on main. Actually, generator should go to standby first. Now the ammeter is below 50. Now we go back on main. That's the way this works. Alright, cool. So, flaps going back up. Moving. Looking nice. And here we go. Flaps are up. Bleed air on auto. So, fan flow as required is not really needed today. We'll just put it on low. Air conditioning is coming on. Alright, cabin temperature set, and I think the current temperature is looking pretty good. So then, airflow distributor as required, cabin altitude to field elevation -500. So current field elevation, where is it, is 7,600. So we're looking at roughly 7,000 up here. Looking good. Okay, so that is looking good for the time being. Then weather radar on off standby. That's looking good. Is set off. Okay, so radio master on. Then EFIS master on. Autopilot and trim master on. So EFIS source is set to the left hand side. That's looking good. Electric trim is on, then we can go ahead and test it, and that is looking wonderful. Alright, so inertial separator annunciator is illuminated, and that's about it. Now all we've got to do is to prepare our radios, which I am going to do, and our avionics, which I am going to do now. So flight plan, departing Yellowstone, and then we are going to fly according to our clearance with radar
TOS,
vectors
system test OK.
to Quert. So Quert, and our destination is gonna be K-Jack. Jackson Hole, here we go. We'll enter the approach once we're en route, so that way we can keep it easy. Monitor 1 and 2, squawk from our IFR clearance is 5755. We'll turn the transponder on, flight ID checks, and that is looking good. Alright, and on COM2 we'll tune 1 to 1.5. Ooh, that was a little fast. Here we go, 1 to 1.5, and Unicom on number 1 with our departure frequency, which according our clearance is going to be 128.35 on standby. No, not active, but standby. Here we go. Alright, we don't need any nav radios, but I'll make sure that we don't have any localizer active over there. So down here we can already switch to GPS. This is all looking good. Initial climb 10,000 according to our clearance. The altimeter was 3022. And that's set. Right, we'll set our field elevation down here. Like this. Right, Romeo 19 for departure, so let's go ahead and set our heading buck, which is basically the present heading, and that's it. So they want us airborne by 18, that means we have 9 minutes to go, so let's waste no more time and let's get going. So taxi light is coming on, park and brake is coming off, but I will just hit the brakes manually. Alright. Looks good. Now let's just open that chart here once again. What's it called? Yellowstone. Okay. Yellowstone traffic, TBM850 Zulu, taxi in runway 19 at Yellowstone. Alright, brakes off. Let's give this a go. We'll pretend we haven't seen those people over here. So both sides are clear. runway 19. That means we gotta turn off to the right hand side over here, like this. Okay, so flight instruments are observed working. Engine instruments are all looking good as well. Wonderful. Okay, cool. So, is there anything special for our departure? Not really, so let's just get straight into the briefing. It's gonna be a left-sea takeoff of runway 19 on the runway heading altitude 10,000. High terrain all over, but good conditions, so we will be able to see anything. We rotate at about 90 knots initial climb, up to 170 for speed today, and well, weather is good, wind is calm, no comments on the A330 over there. And with that, I think we've discussed everything we needed for this departure. No immediate turnbacks below at least 1000 AGL. Alright, so that is looking good. Then let's go ahead and do the before takeoff checklist. So, park and brake is set, park and brake annunciator is illuminated. Then terrain warning is looking good. Alright, power lever for 1900 RPMs. So that was a little bit too much. We're looking for 1900. Like this. Beautiful. Okay, so exercise the propeller into feather. And this looks good. It is feathering. Okay. So, prop governor, hold to test. That's the overspeed test. Where's the governor test again? I keep losing track of that very switch in this airplane. It is hidden somewhere nicely as far as I do remember. No, tell you what, can't find the switch. It's fine, we are gonna survive without it. Could swear it would have been somewhere over here, but don't ask me where. Or is the overspeed test the governor? I think so. At least there is no other switch. If I'm doing this wrong, guys, put it in the comments below. That's fine for me. I can totally accept hitting the wrong switch. But okay, overspeed test is hit. Then let's bring that prop lever forward again. And yeah, going to about 1800, releasing the switch, going to 1900. That's looking good. Then we can go back to flight idle, which is here. Okay, fuel imbalance, less than 15 gallons. That's looking good. So, fuel selector is on auto, auxiliary pump selector is on auto. So, auto fuel selector, shift to fullest. They are both equally full, so it doesn't really matter. It's on the left, that's fine with me. Okay, so flaps as required. We'll go into the takeoff position over here. Pitot heat on. Then de-icing systems as required, and this is actually looking good the way it is. Inertial separator, we'll keep that one on for the takeoff. Because, well, I don't know. I don't trust this app 100%. So, advisory panel has all off except for brake and inertial separator. That's fine. Engine instruments are checked and all looking good. Okay, flight controls. Free and correct. Ammeter is below plus 50. Alright then. Park and brake off, and park and brake annunciator is extinguished. Strobe lights are on anyway, and that's the before takeoff checklist complete. Then we do have a takeoff checklist here, which is interesting. So, HSI compass checked, attitude is checked, altimeter is checked. Actually, we made a mistake earlier with the cabin altitude. Should be at 6.1. That's looking better. Right, so altitude selector is set, weather radar is coming on, landing lights are coming on, and we'll turn the pulse function on as well, nav lights on as well. Okay, so ignition is not required, interior lights are not required, cabin lights are off, park and brake is released, and with that we are clear to taxi onto the runway. Yellowstone traffic, TBM850 Zulu, line up and takeoff, runway 19 at Yellowstone. Alright, good. So with that we're ready to go. Clear on the left side. Transponder on alt, and then we can prepare the timer down here as well. So function, count up, that's looking good. Alright, good. If you guys are ready, we'll start the timer. Take off. So, smoothly to 100% torque. No more than that for the takeoff. And this is looking good. Alright, brake released. Let's go. So, power set. You can feel how heavy the airplane is, and you can really feel how the altitude has its effect. Speed alive. So, 70 knots. Checked on both sides. 85, rotate. So, positive climb, tap the brakes, gear up. Here we go, beautiful. So, yaw damper is coming on, our airspeed is building nicely, now we're also climbing nicely, so flaps up. Beautiful terrain, isn't it? Okay, so reaching 120, let's go for 850 mode. On, and let's increase power to 120 torque. And then let's call departure. Salt Lake Center, TBM850 Zulu, out of Yellowstone, passing 7,900, climbing 10,000. And let's actually maintain that runway heading.
Keep on 4695 Zulu, Salt Lake Center, radar contact. Climb and maintain 15,000, turn left, heading 140, vectors to court, then is filed.
Climb maintain 15,000, left heading 140, vectors to court, TBM850 Zulu. Okay, 15,000 is checked, heading 140. Here we go. Nice.
Zulu, climb and maintain flight level 190.
TBM850 Zulu, climb maintain flight level 190. Set. 190 checked. Alright, and off we go. Then let's do... Actually, does he want us to go direct to Quert already? The TBM850 Zulu, shall we proceed direct to Quert now?
Takeoff 95 Zulu, affirmative, proceed direct Quert.
Thank you, direct Quert, TBM850 Zulu. Okay, direct Quert, nav, and here we go. Nice, so climb checklist. Okay, power lever observe limit, cabin altitude, set cruise alt plus 1000, and I tell you what, I'm just gonna leave it up here because, well, we are going to be landing at a field elevation just as high as what we departed from. So, cabin climb rate is not required, cabin differential is increasing, fuel quantity and balance monitor, DI systems monitor, inertial separator monitor, and that's the climb checklist completed. Okay, so we can turn off the taxi light since that gear is retracted anyway. Then let's have a look outside.
Direct Mindy, cleared for the RNAV. Next runway 19 approach. Descend and maintain altitude 11,000 until established. Down to 11,000, cleared for the RNAV. X19 approach, United 2193. United 2193, contact Jackson Tower 118.075.
Ah, Jackson's got traffic. Lovely, isn't it? I just really can't overemphasize how great this simulator looks. They've just done an awesome job on that, an absolutely awesome one. Okay, I don't think we need that inertial separator any longer, so let's go ahead and turn that off. That will increase our power a bit, so reducing the power lever. That is looking wonderful. Okay, so let's see if we can already find out which arrival we can expect over in Jackson. So Jackson, info, frequencies, and we're looking for the Asus 120625. Sounds like we're still out of range. That's fine. Then I will just ask our traffic control, because we do need some time to prepare and it's a very short flight after all. TBM850 Zulu, which approach can we expect in Jackson?
TBM850 Zulu, expect the ILS runway 19 approaching the Jackson.
Expecting the ILS runway 19 at TBM850 Zulu. Okay, great. So, procedure, approach, and we are looking for the ILS 19er, like this. Is there a word transition? No? Alright, that's fine with me. Okay, load. And here we go. You can probably take that one out, but we'll see about it. After all, ATC was probably going to vector us in, so there isn't all that much that we've got to do. Quick look down at the cabin, and it's pressurizing very nicely. The differential pressure is increasing, while the cabin altitude remains constant, and that's basically what we want to see. So, airport info, let's just see, elevation is 6.5. So let's just set that down here on the ECS. The cabin starts to climb smoothly. Very nice. That's how we're expecting this. Quite impressive how the airplane doesn't climb that well, is it? Like, an empty TBM can give you like 2,000 feet a minute, but we're pretty heavy, and to be honest, we're pretty high already as well. But that's how I like it. That's how it's fun to fly this. Cabin temperature 22 Celsius, very good. Beautiful. So, let's see, we'll be at 19,000, and runway 19 is going to be more or less a straight-in approach, depending on what they have in store for us. Field elevation is 6.5, that means we got to be descending 13 feet, so we need about 30 miles for the descent. In other words, it is going to be a pretty short cruise, maybe a couple of minutes only. But we'll see what they have in store for us.
Radar
beautiful terrain out there. Okay, so let's get back inside. We're already approaching our cruising altitude now, and then we're approaching the descent in like 20 miles more. So let's just have a look at the map over here. So Quirk is basically right next to Wanru. So what I'm going to do for our flight plan is to go in here, check Jackson Hole out, so that we go from Quirk to Wanru. And then we should have some good data for our VNAV system. Right, transition altitude, set standard. So I cross-check passing flight level 181. Now, checked. Alright, pulse lights off and landing lights going off as well. Very nice. Let's do another attempt on the Asus. Here we go.
TBM850 Zulu, whenever you'd like to send and maintain 14,000. Altimeter 3006.
TBM850 Zulu, when ready, descend and maintain 14,000. And altimeter 3006. Okay, we'll let it level off first. Here we go, and then we can put 14,000 in here. Right, alt hold is active, altimeter 3006. I'll just set that on the right hand side already, so that we can't forget it. Here we go. Cool, so let's have a quick look down at VNAV while listening to the Asus again.
Vertical track.
TBM850 Zulu, descend and maintain 11200. Maintain current heading 145 vectors for the ILS runway 19 approach.
Descend and maintain 11,000, maintain the current heading vectors ILS 19, TBM850 Zulu. Alright, heading, and then let's go down. 1,000 feet a minute.
Zulu, maintain 11,000, maintain current heading 145 vectors for the ILS runway 19 approach.
Maintain 11,000 on the current heading, TBM850 Zulu. Alright, cool, and it needs 1,500 feet a minute, so let's give it that. Probably a little bit more, since we will be accelerating a bit in the descent, and this is looking good. Now, I'll just slightly reduce those RPMs over here. We'll keep the power up high, because we do want to go fast. And that's everything we need. So let's go ahead. We can basically skip over the transition altitude and the cruise checklist. We've done those items, so let's go for the descent checklist. So, set QNH. Altimeter 3006. Cabin altitude is set to field elevation. Should be field elevation plus 500. Pulse lights on. Landing lights on. Going through 18,000 anyway now. Okay, de-icing systems as needed, inertial separator as required, airflow distributor as required, ignition on if heavy precipitation is not the case, fuel quantity and balance, so right has a little bit more, and it's actually working off the right side. And auto fuel selector shift to fullest is done, descent checklist complete. Lovely. So we're now coming in pretty fast, so let's go ahead and start setting up for the approach. ILS Zulu 190. with radar vectors 109.1, active nav 1, and active nav 2. So final approach course 187, we can already pre-select that down here, just to have a reminder. Here we go. 187, the main side. I'll tell you what, why not? So set VOR 187, here we go. Alright, minimum 6651, which is basically here. And that equals 200 radio. So DH set, 200, looking good. Okay, cool. So frequencies, courses, minimums. Then let's do a very quick approach briefing. We're arriving in Jackson Hole. Weather is good. We can actually almost see the airport over there already. Right down there. Beautiful weather coming in. Frequencies, courses, minimums are set. 1091, 187 and 6651. We'll have a rather high ground speed here, but we also have a very long runway vacating to the left-hand side. Approach speed is going to be about 100 in flaps full. Any questions? Well, asking that to myself since we're doing single pilot ops here. Okay, beautiful. So that's our approach preparation completed. And now look at this. Fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. So, speed below 250 is fine. We're not receiving the ILS just yet, which is... Oh, here it comes. That's what I call timing. I did not plan this, I promise. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's see how our vertical speed is doing. Oh, it actually doesn't even have VNAV anymore. So let's just go activate vectors to final. Here we go. Do we get vertical information now? Let's see. No, we don't. Okay, that's fine. We know that we're 18 miles out, and...
TBM850 Zulu, descend and maintain 1000, turn right heading 175.
Descend and maintain 1000, right heading 175, TBM850 Zulu. So 1000 and heading 175. And let's do 1000 feet a minute to level off over here. Right, the field is over there. Should be easy going. The moment we start receiving the glide slope, I expect to be almost straight on it.
Salt Lake Center, United 143, flight level.
Here we go, slightly above, but nothing much we can do about it right now, since we do have that altitude restriction. Alright, so reducing power a little bit so that we start slowing down. TBM850 Zulu, request further descent.
TBM850 Zulu, say requested altitude.
TBM850 Zulu, request altitude 8000.
TBM850 Zulu, descend and maintain 8000.
Descend and maintain 8000, TBM850 Zulu.
TBM850 Zulu, contact Jackson Tower on 118.075 when established.
118.075 when established, TBM850 Zulu. Did he say cleared for the ILS? 1875? No, I don't think so. Okay, tell you what. Let's find out. No, don't do that.
TBM850 Zulu, contact Jackson Tower on 118.075.
118.075, TBM850 Zulu. Here we go. Jacksonville Tower, TBM 4695 Zulu, ILS 19.
TBM950
195 Zulu, track motel, Jackson Tower, continue approach runway 19er.
Continue approach runway 19er, TBM850 Zulu. Okay, so I'll just clear myself for the approach over here. We've got 1,000 to go, and I tell you what, we'll set 7.5 in here.
Zulu, winds calm, runway 19er cleared to land.
Runway 19er cleared to land, TBM850 Zulu. Okay, not sure why the autopilot isn't capturing the ILS, but then we do it ourselves.
TBM95 Zulu, read back, please clarify your request.
TBM95 Zulu, runway 19, clear to land. Not sure what the ATC AI has understood there. Okay, so nicely established. That's looking good. Go around altitude. Is 14,000. Come on. Here we go. 14,000 is set. So speed's coming back nicely. Then let's go flaps 1. Gear down. So we are clear to land. Lights are on. Before landing checklist, cabin lights off, altimeters are set. Then decision height is checked, fuel quantity and balance are checked, inertial separator comes on. Here we go. Okay, prop lever marks RPMs and landing gear down. Ooh. Got a little bit out of trim here. This is looking better. Okay, so flaps full. Right, autopilot disconnected, and that's the before landing checklist complete. So, nicely established, airport is in sight.
500.
I am approaching a little bit fast here, but that's intentional. So 100 above. Minimum, continue. We'll be flying on the pappies here, disregard the glide slope. Alright, and power back to idle. And here we are. Okay, we'll let it roll a little bit longer. Don't need reverse, thank you. Well, and here we are. Beautiful, welcome to Jackson Hole.
TBM95 Zulu, welcome to Jackson. Contact ground on 124.55.
124.55, TBM95 Zulu, see ya. Okay, runway is vacated, we'll just stop here for a second. Parking brake set and timer stop. Alright, after landing checklist please. So, de-icing systems. All off, inertial separator is gonna stay on, bleed air is no longer required, off. Okay, weather radar. Standby, flaps. Up, landing lights.
United 2494, ready for push and start.
Also turn the pulse lights off and oxygen off. After landing checklist complete.
Roger, pushback approved. United 2494.
Grant, good afternoon, TBM 4695 Zulu, runway vacated.
TBM4695, Zulu, Jackson Ground, good afternoon. Taxi to parking via Alpha Bravo 1. Contact tower on 118.075 when ready for departure.
Taxi parking by Alpha Bravo 1, TBM 4695 Zulu. Bye-bye. Right, so Alpha is over here. Not sure where they think Bravo 1 is, but General Aviation is over here via Charlie. TBM95 Zulu, can we taxi via Charlie?
TBM95 Zulu, taxi to GA parking stand 2 via Charlie Delta. Have a good day.
Charlie Delta, thanks. Alright, then we're gonna go for Delta, which is right over here. Ooh, that wing is overlapping a little bit. Gotta make that slow.
United 24904 ready to taxi.
Not the best idea to park your plane like this, but I think this should fit.
Runway 19
Let's see if I think right. Yeah, easily.
Runway 19 taxi via Alpha 4 United 24904.
Alright, rather congested apron over here. Left side's clear, we'll be parking next to that 310 over here. Alright, and stop. So, parking brake set, shutdown checklist please. Parking brake set, parking brake annunciator is illuminated, taxi light off, bleed air off. Cabin differential pressure, 0, depressurized. So, fan flow is on low, air conditioning off, engines idle for a minute, we've already been there. Gyro instruments all off. Okay, Thrustmaster off. Autopilot and trim master off. So, radio master off, prop lever, feather for 15 seconds. Alright, 15 seconds should roughly be over. Then, condition lever cut off. Okay, auxiliary boost pump off. Auto fuel tank selector to manual. Tank selector pull off. Here we go. Okay, inertial separator off. Exterior lights all off. Interior lights all off. Ignition off. Generator selector main. Source selector off. Crash lever down. And that's the shutdown and securing checklist complete. So let's open this one up. Press to unlock and open. And here we are. Welcome to Jackson Hole. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave your feedback in the comments below. Let me know if this is the type of general aviation flight that you guys would love to see a little bit more on the channel. I'm very happy for your feedback, and for the time being, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching. Now let's assume that our passengers have already disembarked. We are going to close this one down. Empty airplane, leave it nice and tidy for the next guys to go flying, and then we'll head over to the FBO to get ourselves some nice drinks and wait for the call for the next flight. Thank you very much for flying along. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, you know the drill. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.